Welcome back to Happiness Now. I'm Mansi, and I'm with the infinitely wise and joyful Narayani and Shurjo. Welcome to you both. Guys, we've discussed a wide range of subjects and themes. The big one, the one that maybe matters the most, the importance of meditation.
Well, I think it's an understatement for us to say it's the most important thing ever, 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 ever. But again, why is it so important? For most people, meditation tends to be a vague, I'm going to close my eyes, I have to put my attention somewhere, the breath is involved. It's like, what am I really doing? Unless I see a light or I hear a sound. I mean, it's such an experience-based thing for most people. Kuch dig gaya ki kuch ho gaya, then I meditated. Why meditation is so important is first to understand what meditation is. Meditation, very simply, is the reversal of life itself. Now, life itself is where our energy, our being is outwardly directed and downwardly directed. So energy from our brain moves down into the body, and from the body and what we would call the chakras or our centers of being out into the world. In meditation, we're trying to reverse that flow. We take all that life force that's going outward and we start withdrawing it back in and then move it up. When we move it in and up, what happens is it goes and rests in our brain. And as it rests in our brain, especially in the frontal cortex of our brain, it begins to change our synapses, it begins to grow more gray matter there. And why is the frontal cortex of the brain so important? Now, spiritually speaking, you'd call that the Agya Chakra and the Kutastha, the third eye, whatever names you want to give it. But the frontal cortex of our brain is that kind of part of the brain which makes us human. We're the only beings in the world who have a frontal cortex. And it's that part that deals with joy, happiness, peace, creativity, willpower, concentration, all those things, harmony, the ability to cooperate. All of that comes to us from our frontal cortex. And so when we think about life and we think about what we want from it, these are the things we want from it. But we've created so many habits of living from what's called the limbic system, which is the reactive part of our life, which is where animals live. They live in the limbic system, which is if there's a dog on the, lying on the ground and I kick it, the dog chooses either to bite you or to run away from you. And that's how we see life, as one or the other. I have to act, I have to react to it all the time. And when we start doing that over and over and over again, after a while, we don't even realize that's what we're doing and we just assume that's life. So when we're meditating, we're completely breaking that aspect of ourselves. And we're shifting all our attention, all our energy, all our awareness to the frontal cortex. And also, as we draw those kind of threads of energy that have gone out into the world, we get then to redefine them anew every time I come out of meditation. I get to send them out again, but this time I can send where I really want them to go. And I start gaining greater and greater control over my energy. And so that's really what's happening. And so when you think about meditation that way, it's not some sort of a passive state ki apne aap hi ho jayega. This is a very dynamic, there's intention here. There's intensity here. And so when you're getting into meditation, you need to realize that it's this really dynamic flow of awareness, and will is involved, and intention is involved. My spine has to be straight, my chest has to be open, my body has to be relaxed. Where is the position of my eyes? All of those little things play in. I've seen people sit to meditate and they're just hunched back and they're just sitting, and I couldn't tell whether they were sleeping or meditating. And for most people, meditation, in fact, is a subconscious state rather than a superconscious state. And this center is our center of intuition as well. And so the more we're able to tap into that space, into that aspect of our being, that absolute highest center that no other being on this planet has, everything that differentiates us from all other life forms, the complexity of our nervous system, and the advancement of our ability to tune in and choose at the frontal cortex, That's what meditation's all about. And then from there, you're able to realize larger and larger realities. But if you start from too large a reality, I want to become the soul and I want to become one with the universe, and then you don't know where to start from, because I don't know what the soul is yet. I don't even know what the universe is yet. But I know I have a nervous system, and I know I have a brain, and I know I can work with that. And so true meditation is the simplicity of returning back into yourself.
The only real difference between a self-realized master, whether it is Buddha, Krishna, Christ, Yogananda, Babaji, is that these masters live constantly in the superconsciousness, and we are not. That's the only difference. And they relate to us from their superconsciousness to our superconsciousness. So meditation is the process of training ourselves to live from the point between the eyebrows. If you want to have these amazing abs in your body or big biceps, it's not going to come by just going to the gym once a month. You will need to go every day and keep training, energizing your body until you really have that perfect fit body. The same happens with meditation. If you want to live daily from your superconsciousness, if you always want to be in tune with God's will, if you always want to know what's the right course of action, if you want to live from that point of where your intuition really lives, you need to keep training yourself and energize, magnetize that part of your brain that comes from a daily practice of meditation. Sometimes when we ask people, do you meditate? And they reply, oh yes, I meditate once a week, twice a month, wherever I feel low. I mean, that's not having a regular meditation practice. If you really want to start seeing the results, you have to keep this in mind. You have to have a daily practice of meditation. And two ingredients that Shurjo already mentioned before. For a successful meditation, two things are required. A straight spine, always, so the energy can flow freely towards the brain, and your gaze, the position of your eyes, slightly uplifted, because wherever our eyes go, that's where energy is directed. So when we shift the position of our eyes, we are inviting that energy to be uplifted automatically to the point between the eyebrows. So if you have not kept these 2 points in mind in your meditation practice, perhaps this could be a good thing to start implementing.
Well, we've spoken enough about meditation. Let's do one, Shurjo.
Okay. As we've been talking about, we've got the position and posture of our body, we've got the position of our eyes. The other part of how to move energy is now through concentrating our awareness. And the beautiful tool that we have with us to do that is, of course, our breath. It's the most present reality. It's taking place right here, right now. So as you sit upright, and as you hold your body as still as you can, as you lift up your gaze and let it just firmly stay there without any tension or strain, bring your awareness now to your breath. Find it. Where is it? Where do you feel it the most? So your mind can latch on to it. For many of us, that can be at the nostrils. So become aware just of that opening at your nose. Feel that gentle coolness and warmth as the breath flows in and out. If you can center your mind there and be perfectly present, where there is no future, there is no past, because the breath is here and now. that is when the life force and energy begins to interiorize as well, away from the world, away from all preoccupations. So stay with the breath just a minute longer. Sure, the mind will fight and want to wander and be distracted, but you are greater than the mind. Come back again and again to the breath. Each time you break away from the mind to the breath, you win a tiny battle. And every tiny battle counts towards the war of your own consciousness. Whenever you feel ready, gently open your eyes, affirming that you will come back to your breath 100 times throughout the day, again and again, no matter what you are doing.
Narayani, Shurjo, thank you so much as always. Please take as much time as you want to stay in that meditative space and come back to us when you're ready.